From the land of lakes, this is 10,000 Takes, brought to you by Minnesota Score Radio. Wally and Eric back for yet another week as we slice and dice the always busy, always topical, super saturated Minnesota sports scene. And we continue on in October, which is always a jam-packed sports month.
It is. And did you know, you probably didn't know this, this is episode number 100 in the history of this show.
Wow, the big C note, huh?
The big C note, yes. We have outlasted many sitcoms that have come and gone.
Yeah.
And as my son told me earlier in the day before we did the show, he said, you guys are a sitcom.
And the Vegas over-under, before we started the show, I caught a glimpse of the odds when I was out in Nevada a few months ago. 20. So we've exceeded the over-under.
Wow.
Good for us.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not good for you watching.
Yeah, well, take it with a grain of salt. I guess that's the best way to put it.
100. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 100. Welcome to 100. Congratulations. All right. Let's start with the Vikings, obviously. They finally got a win, and they won on the road. So now, not to demean what they've done, because they do have – you don't throw any back, as they say in the NFL.
Yeah, it's not catch and release.
No, it is not. They are coming into the Monday night game against San Francisco, and we can talk about that at length. But they have 2 wins, one over the 0-6 Carolina Panthers and one over the 1-5 Chicago Bears. So that means their opponents are a combined 1-11, the 2 worst teams in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Do you take any stock in those 2 wins, though?
The stock I take is they are both road wins. Difficult to win away from home in the NFL. I'll give them credit for that. I also, if you're a Viking fan, I think you have to take away some positivity from the defensive efforts against Carolina and the Chicago Bears. What couple of scooping scores, right? One in the Panthers game, one in the Bears game. Jordan Hicks was lights out last week. Resilient in both games, certainly not dominant. But they're going to have to ramp it up Monday night on ABC when San Francisco comes in. And this will be a chippy 49er team who lost to your Brownies.
They did.
So let me tell you, the San Francisco 49ers, I know they had some guys dinged up, Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, but I expect them to play. And their defense is about as good as it gets, and they will punch you in the mouth. They're physical.
Yeah. Well, and Cleveland beat them with defense. And Brock Purdy didn't look so purdy against that Cleveland defense. He looked very ordinary, lost for the first time in 13 starts, NFL starts? I think that's correct. So they're going to have to pressure him. Hope that at minimum, if those guys do play, that they're not at 100%. But they're going to have to account for Deebo Samuel, no question. And Christian McCaffrey, and I know you like to call him the Swiss Army knife because he does do it all. As a matter of fact, last year in the playoffs, he played quarterback because Purdy and all their backups went down. So it is I said that they would be 2-5 through their 7 games. I'm still going to hold to that. But if the Minnesota Vikings can somehow win this game, now you're within a game of 500, and the schedule doesn't look quite as daunting as you go forward. You've got 2 games with Green Bay, and I've told you I think they're kind of ordinary this year. It doesn't look like love is the answer in this case. I mean, at least not a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback at this point. He looks like he just might be the guy that's succeeding Aaron Rodgers as opposed to...
it's too early really to say or make that declaration, but they're struggling. Green Bay probably is an average team right now. I think when you look at a potential win against San Francisco, that would be a signature victory for the Vikings.
No doubt.
That would, I think, alert the rest of the NFC that, hey, maybe Minnesota is still capable of making a run. If they lose this one, then you start to say, you know what they are. They can only compete against the bad teams. And when you talk about Christian McCaffrey, he scored a touchdown in 15 straight games, so he has a knack for finding the end zone. And one thing Kyle Shanahan does is the pre-snap motion. There's a lot of noise. So defensively, this will be a challenge for Brian Flores. A good matchup here, Flores against Shanahan, the X's and the O's. Don't buy into the noise. Don't get sucked into all this movement before the snap. Know your role, read your keys, because that's how the 49ers have success. And with guys like Deebo and Brandon Ayuk, and don't forget George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey. And look, Brock Purdy, he was not lights out in Cleveland, but what quarterback has a great game every week? It's amazing. I'm amazed how many people that follow the NFL, when a guy has one bad game,
they want to toss him aside.
Exactly. And then when he has a good game, they want to anoint him into the Hall of Fame. This is a process. I'm impressed with Brock Purdy, and I think he's an outstanding quarterback.
All right, speaking of outstanding quarterbacks, I think that Kirk Cousins has been as good as he can be. All of last season, I thought he was pretty good. Kirk Cousins is not the problem, okay? I thought in the first couple of years, when they didn't advance, that Cousins didn't make big plays, and he was part of the problem. I don't think he's the problem now. I think he was very good last year. I think he's been very good so far this year. He has limited the interceptions. He gets the ball out quickly. He takes a sack when it's necessary. And his accuracy, he's really accurate.
He is not the problem. You're exactly right. But here is the problem. The Minnesota Vikings are a one-trick pony. Right. They cannot run the football.
You're right.
They miss Dalvin Cook. I don't care what he's doing or not doing with the New York Jets. They miss what he gave them here in Minnesota. So that said, the 49ers know that. And their defense is about as good as you're going to find in the NFL. So, as you said, he's getting rid of the ball quickly, Kirk Cousins. I think he's going to have to do that against San Francisco because they're going to cave the pocket in, and they're probably going to key on, hey, if we can shut down Cousins or limit the passing game, we know they won't run on us, we'll win the football game. And as usual, turnovers, and finally the Vikings were on the plus side of it against Chicago,
right?
With the Hicks interception and the scoop and score, and Byron Murphy late to clinch the game. Minnesota's got to win the turnover battle against San Francisco, and we'll see what happens as Brock Purdy and Debo and Nick Bosa and the gang, Fred Warren. Boy, their defense. I love their defense. Yeah. Smash mouth.
Yeah, no doubt. By the way, some of the photos that we've been showing here in this segment, courtesy of Robin Alam. He is one of our photographers for Minnesota Score Magazine. He does a great job. He was at Soldier Field shooting those photos that we've been showing here during this segment. So hats off to him as we get to showcase some of his great work. So, all right, we're going to take a break. We're going to talk some football, but a different style of football.
All right, we are 10K Takes, your purple picket.
The excitement is real at Fond du Lac Casino. With over 650 slots to play, there's always something going on right in the heart of downtown Duluth. Come in to enjoy 2 floors of entertainment where you'll find some of the hottest new games along with a number of the old favorites. Play at your comfort level all the way up to high stakes where the payouts can be huge. Relax in a comfortable atmosphere and maybe get a beverage while you gather and have fun with your friends. Open 7 days a week so you can
have a great time out at Fond du Lac.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect.
Maya?
Oh, I love your earring. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision. It's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
10,000 takes, and we are going to shift gears and talk some college football. And we will be joined now by a guy who he has a strange tradition every year. It hasn't quite worked out the way he had hoped, I think. But Darrell Thompson, former Gopher great, current Gopher broadcaster. So I know we do this every year. You spend the entire week leading up to the Iowa game eating bacon on a daily basis, correct?
I do. I think that bacon is an essential part of our diets. I even have some bacon jam here that a friend dropped off. So
bacon jam?
I will eat bacon jam, baby. Bacon jam, whatever it takes to get the job done. So this year I'm broadening the horizons. I'm going to start eating breakfast with people. I mean, I've been eating alone. I had my wife with me at a couple of breakfasts, but this year I'm trying to increase the quantity and the energy behind the bacon. I want to talk to maybe next year I'll drive down to Hormel, see if I can have a bacon fest, something like that down there. But it's been fun to do this bacon thing. I mean, I don't know many people who don't, unless it's against your religion to, eat bacon. Most people enjoy bacon. So I have fun with it. I eat a lot of bacon anyway. And this week I get probably about twice as much bacon as I normally get. I still eat a lot of bacon.
But Darrell, is it working? The Gophers have lost 8 straight games in this Floyd of Rosedale rivalry with Iowa. Are you not eating enough?
Sometimes you gotta adjust your approach. I've tried to eat a lot. I've tried to eat a little. I mean, right now I'm focused. This year I'm focused on quality. So this is like you talk about what Coach Fleck. I did the coach show with them today. He said, hey, you know what? We got to have good eye discipline. You got to trust your technique. You got to trust what you see. Then you make a tackle, and that's what makes Iowa so great on defense. They trust what they see and they go make a play. Don't worry about anything else. Trust what you see. Go make a play. So I'm trying to trust what I see. I'm going to eat 2 strips, sometimes 3 or 4. But I'm not going to have 8, 9, or 10 strips. In the past, I've had 8 or 9 strips, and it gets a little hard. I feel, I get the meat sweats, feel a little maybe, not quite right. So now if I limit the intake and I get some exercise, I drink a lot of water, I feel like it's in and out versus kind of hanging around all day.
Oh boy, in and out. I mean, that's too much information. Way too much information. All right, let me ask you this.
You asked for it.
Yeah, apparently. How many meals a day are you eating bacon? Is this a breakfast, lunch, and dinner thing? Is this just a breakfast thing? Are you putting bacon on your burgers?
It's strictly breakfast, and every once in a while I think I've had a couple BLTs for lunch if I don't have time to get my breakfast, kind of my post up, and I just have like kind of traditional, like a lighter breakfast, kind of fruit and a breakfast bar and of course coffee, something like that. So, but I've been going with bacon primary, mostly just breakfast. That's been the focus of this.
Okay.
All right, Darrell, bacon aside, for Minnesota, the Gophers got to get back on track. PJ's never beaten Iowa. We know that. But the Hawkeyes are the front runner now in the Big Ten West. They won at Camp Randall against Wisconsin last week. They're ranked. Iowa's going to be ready to go. Can the Gophers match that intensity at Kinnick?
One thing I think that, and one thing I love about Coach Fleck, he comes with energy. Coach Fleck brings it every single day when he walks in the gym, when he walks in the room, when he walks on the practice field, he brings it. And this is the type of game where people are counting them out. Iowa's a team. I know they're struggling a little bit offensively, but defensive, they don't struggle. Their defense scores. They get after people. They're disciplined. They're playing with confidence. They're playing with swagger. So it's going to be a handful, but I feel like this is the type of game that we will be ready for. We'll be prepared for mentally, physically, and emotionally. And you need to be if you're going to win at Kinnick Stadium, because it is a challenging environment. It's a lot like I liken it to a high school crosstown rival basketball game, because the fans are right on you. They're hollering. They know your name. They're going to be talking about your mom and your sister and your girlfriend and your brother, all those types of things. You're going to hear those things. But quite honestly, I think those things are kind of fun. They can be a little bit motivational.
Can they win without throwing the football? Because the Gophers have struggled in the passing game.
Well, I think we can. I think we can win, but we're going to have to throw the ball. Ethan is going to have to throw the ball. He's going to throw it a little bit better than he has in the last couple of games. And I'll tell you, the windows against that Michigan team were small, and that team was talented. They were long, they were athletic, and they're deep. So there's that is a team that in my 20 plus years of broadcasting, I've not seen many better teams in warmups. I mean, when I watch warmups, I'm like looking, oh my God, look at those guys. I mean, they look tall, they look long, they look athletic. And then in the game, they look tall, they look long, they look athletic, and they look fast. I mean, that to me is like, I was like, man, they got everything. I said, they got everything that they need on their team. And that's, running backs, the quarterbacks, the receivers, the defensive line, the secondary was moving in sync. You see Ethan got sacked. I'm looking back. I watched the replay. There's actually nowhere for him to throw the ball. So, I mean, it wasn't like there was like, oh, this, hey, no, the slant wasn't there. The deep out wasn't there. The check down route's not there. I mean, there's nothing there. So that was a team that is, that's a playoff team. That is a play. It's going to be fun to see them play against your producers, Buckeyes here pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
Darrell, before we started the interview, we had a good chat off air about NIL, transfer portal. It's been around now for a few years. We're starting to navigate through it. I'm watching Washington and Oregon the other day. There's Bucky Irving doing good things for the Ducks, former Gopher running back. And there's Michael Penix Jr. in the Heisman conversation, who played at Indiana. Does the transfer portal hurt schools like Indiana and Minnesota more than it does Washington and Oregon?
Absolutely. I think it's the transfer portal, number one, and I think we could adjust to that to maintain. And then there's the name, image, likeness, and the lure of more dollars coming from someone else. I think Bucky Irving would still be here, all things being equal. He should be our starting running back right now, and Darius Taylor should have 500, 700, maybe 800 yards, and Bucky should have 1,600 yards or something like that. So I mean, Bucky is a tremendous running back, and the opportunity for him to play somewhere else and perhaps get a little bit more compensation, or maybe a lot more compensation, made sense, and it makes sense to anyone.
What's it going to take to get that NIL money here in Minnesota?
We got to step up and realize that that's where we're at as college sports, especially basketball and football, and volleyball to an extent as well, and hockey. But we've got to just realize this is where we're at, and we have a great state here. We have tremendous corporate sponsors and opportunities here. We just need to step up and do as much or more than the other people are doing, and we can be more than fine. We can have the success we want, and we can hang on to players, because right now, we want to keep this running back, Darius Taylor. We better, he just signed with an agent, so that's like completely legitimate now. And other schools will be watching the film, and they'll be like, oh, you know what? You'd look really good and out here in my uniform versus your uniform. I just believe that Minnesota has the wherewithal, has the corporations, has the companies, has the individuals, and the history that we could be successful here. So we just need to continue to do it and build on it, and we can have the same success we've had in the past or more.
Well, hopefully that success starts on Saturday on the field with a win over Iowa. We haven't seen one of those for a while.
Thanks, Darrell.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Take care.
All right. He is Darrell Thompson, former Gopher great, current Gopher broadcaster, right here on 10,000 Takes. Eric and I will be back with more after this timeout. Stay with us.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect.
Maya?
Oh, I love your earrings. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision, it's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
10,000 Takes rolls along, and if one of your team's season comes to an end, don't look anywhere else, because there's another season starting up. And in this case, it's the Wild and the Timberwolves. The Wild already underway. Timberwolves coming soon to an NBA arena near you. Are you excited about the Wild this year? And if so, why? And if not, why not?
Well, it takes me a while to get into hockey mode when it's October.
Yeah,
but,
me too.
Hey, you have to, because the games are here. I'm pumped up to go see the LA Kings and the Minnesota Wild on Thursday night at the X. My Kings are supposed to be good. We'll find out.
Go. He goes off course here.
Well, they are playing.
I'm talking
Thursday.
about the Wild.
Okay, well, based on the early returns, I think they need more consistency in goal.
Well, yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, the opener, Philip Gustafson, had one of the greatest regular season shutouts
Stood on his
in
head.
Wild history, stopping 41 pucks.
Yes, he did.
And then 3 nights later in Toronto, Ontario, he got battered by Austin Matthews in the Maple Leafs. So
the Swiss cheese defense.
Exactly. And then they finished up in Canada the other night against Montreal. So Los Angeles, I think they have a home game Saturday. Connor McDavid and Edmonton are here early next week too. So they'll be tested along the way. Are they an elite team in the Western Conference? I don't think so. They have to prove to me they are. I think they're a good team. I think they'll probably punch a playoff ticket. But watch out for Vegas. Boy, the Golden Knights have gotten out of the gates quickly.
Yeah, they have. And they've, the Wild have some young talent. Brock Faber showed out on the opening night. And to me, that seems to be the place where they're going to have some concern. Can they put enough pucks in the net to win? I think eventually Gustafson will be fine as the season goes along. But I think that's going to be number one. Are they going to be able to score?
Well, and I think obviously Kirill, I think we can call him a superstar. He's very good.
Sure.
Other teams focus on him. Joel Eriksson-Ek is an outstanding player, and he doesn't maybe get enough credit. Matt Boldy, can he duplicate what he did last season as a rookie? Yeah, and having him not on the ice right now is a setback. But it's a long NHL season, as we know.
All right. Okay, let's flip the script and talk some Twins. We'll go backwards here. There are several key players that are going to be free agents. Notably, starting pitchers Kenta Maeda and Sonny Gray. Let's talk about those two. Do you expect the Twins to be in the bidding for Sonny Gray? They're going to want to bring him back. He wants to come back, but are they going to be able to outbid somebody like your Dodgers, for example?
Probably not if it becomes a bidding war with one of these teams like Los Angeles, the Dodgers, who have deep pockets, or, now that Atlanta's already out of it, or, somebody is going to say we need to get even more pitching. Because you can never really have enough.
Right.
The Twins do need to bring him back, and if they lose him, they got to find another Sonny Gray. What they really need to do is keep Sonny Gray and find even more pitching, because they look. The Twins had a good season. It was a fun ride. I love going out to those playoff games. But now that the dust has settled and some of the euphoria has gone away, right?
Right.
They didn't even take Houston to 5 games.
This is true.
In the ALDS. So you can't say you were close. It didn't even get to a game 5. So they have work to do. Do they have a bright future? Yes, with Royce Lewis and Edward Julian and a lot of those other guys. But they still got to get better.
Yeah. And losing Sonny Gray does not take them that direction.
That's a subtraction thing.
What about
makes you worse?
What about Kenta Maeda?
My guess is he doesn't come back.
Yeah. Unless they lose Sonny Gray. Then
True.
Maybe they get...
He may have leverage.
Right. Okay. One other one that I think is going to be a key piece here, Michael A. Taylor. Now, we know Byron Buxton having the surgery, so they're hopeful that he'll be their center fielder next year, but they're not banking on it. I can tell you that. They're going to have somebody ready to go. And I know that, they're talking about Willie Castro out there and, some other guys out there, but it's way different when you have Byron Buxton out there.
No question. And they need to keep Michael A. Taylor.
I
If
agree.
you look at the Twins, when they've had success, they've had an outstanding glove in center field, whether it's Torrey or Ben Revere or Aaron Hicks.
Kirby.
Or Kirby, yeah, way back in the World Series days, or Byron Buxton when he's on the field. But Michael A. is just a notch below Byron Buxton when it comes to the glove. But the good news for Michael A. is he's on the field most of the time.
This is true. And he gave him more power than I think that they dreamed they were going to
But he may have played himself
into a big contract.
Exactly. Somebody's going to bite on Michael A.
I agree. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, takes of the day on this 100th show of 10,000 Takes. Stay with us.
The excitement is real at Fond du Lac Casino. With over 650 slots to play, there's always something going on right in the heart of downtown Duluth. Come in to enjoy 2 floors of entertainment where you'll find some of the hottest new games along with a number of the old favorites. Play at your comfort level all the way up to high stakes where the payouts can be huge. Relax in a comfortable atmosphere and maybe get a beverage while you gather and have fun with your friends. Open 7 days a week so you can
have a great time out at Fond du Lac.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect.
Maya?
Oh, I love your earring. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision, it's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
$10K Takes on television as we wrap up episode number 100. Wow.
Yeah, we've survived sitting next to each other for 100 episodes.
Yeah, nobody thought it was possible. My condolences to our director, David Weld, and his cohort, Alex Yambrick, Paul Langfellow, Rocky, the people who have to put up with us on a weekly basis.
Wow, yeah. And I'm just glad that you at least shower once a month. I have to sit this close to you on a regular basis.
Yeah, I put on extra speed stick for this show,
That's
for this
good.
special.
I do appreciate that. All right. And we'll move from that comedy routine to a comedy routine I saw You remember former Twin Trevor May?
I do.
Pitched out of the bullpen, bounced around a little bit after he left Minnesota. Pretty good career. I think he pitched in the majors probably about a dozen years
Good
or
enough
so.
to get that pension.
Good enough to get the pension, exactly. And pretty effective, I thought, particularly the middle and even later years. I think his ERA with Oakland this past season was somewhere in the 3 range. So hats off to him. He announced his retirement earlier this week. But that's not all he did. He went on to social media. He's kind of a social media guru, kind of like you. And, and he went off on Oakland A's ownership, and specifically Oakland A's owner John Fisher. I mean, he pulled no punches, basically saying that John Fisher didn't earn anything. He got all his money from his parents, and that he is ruining the Oakland A's, that he is ruining the name of the Oakland A's, and that he is going to cost hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs in the Oakland area. And it was a pretty, outstanding performance by Trevor May off the field.
Yeah, good for Trevor May. He goes out in that social media universe and he carves up John Fisher, who, by the way, is a legacy owner. Papa Fisher started The Gap. I know a place you shop at. And that's how he got his money. It trickled down to John, and now he's got the A's, and he's trying to move them to Las Vegas. I'll just say this. I was at an Oakland A's game in September. I had a good time. But the one thing, if they go to Vegas, that he's going to leave behind is some of the best weather on the Major League Baseball map. Oakland, it rarely gets chilly there. It rarely do they have rainouts. It's usually 70 degrees in that range. And you're going to turn your back on that to go play inside about 80% of the season in your new retractable roof venue if you get it.
Yeah.
Dumb and dumber.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, time for takes of the day.
All right, let's find out where you land this week. Okay. Are you in the red zone, the happy zone? Are you a beaming brownie, an angry American? What is it?
Well, there's good news and bad news when it comes to your Minnesota Vikings. The Purple, of course, picked up their second win, beating the Chicago Bears. So now they're 2-4 as they head into Monday Night Football against the 49ers. And if they somehow manage to beat the Niners, that moves them one game closer to being a 500 team, and their schedule, as you look beyond that, gets a little softer. They've got Green Bay a couple of times. They have Denver, who's not very good this year. Atlanta is a so-so team. I mean, this is a schedule that might lead them to become perhaps a wild card team. And maybe if they could beat Detroit at the end of the season, maybe they even win the North Division. Well, so that's the good news. The bad news is they might be a wild card and win the North Division. Look, this team is mediocre. Where are they going to go? Probably another one and done in the postseason if they do make it. And here's the other thing that's kind of digging at my craw a little bit. What's the plan at quarterback? You know, Kirk Cousins is playing out his contract right now. He's got this year, and they have nobody waiting in the wings. What is the plan going forward at the quarterback position? You don't really have one right now. I'd like to know what that might be.
Let's check out that mood meter.
Yes.
Ooh, he's in the red zone.
Yeah.
As I suspected.
All right.
He is a grumpy guardian.
Yes.
Okay, well, as you know, there's a groundswell in the NFL for teams who play on field turf to get rid of it and go to natural grass. And certainly the NFL, multi-billion-dollar corporation, can afford to do that. Will they do that? Well, who knows? Those owners don't really care. But what about major college football? Get rid of the rugs, because there's 133 schools playing D1 football. 94 have field turf, including the Minnesota Gophers. Only 39 play on natural grass. Even Notre Dame moved from grass to field turf. I was angry when I saw the Irish and USC the other night, and those little rubber pellets are popping up into the air. Do the right thing, Minnesota Gophers. You're going to get a $60 million check yearly from the bloated Big Ten. Get rid of your field turf, put in a heated natural grass surface just like Green Bay, and it might even help you get a recruit or two, which rumor has it they need.
They need recruits.
All right, on that note, we're going to FedEx out our thank yous. Alex Yambrick, David Weld, Paul Langfellow, and Rocky. He's Wally. I'm Eric saying so long. This is 10K Takes, your sports ticket.